Hello, everybody. This is Debbie Eno from Teacher Success Coach with another episode of the Female Educators Roundtable, where I educate, where I interviews, where I interviews educators from around the world who have been teaching during COVID, especially around this time. Some of them who have been teaching either online or in the physical classroom. So I talk to them about what the challenges are and the triumphs of teaching online or in the physical classroom, and what the issues they're experiencing in terms of teaching online, which means that sometimes you're teaching online as well as teaching in the physical classroom together, because you might have some students who are home isolating and you still have a class in front of you. So having to teach in the physical classroom while it's trying to remember that you've got either Zoom or you have Google Classroom or Teams on while you're teaching your students physically, and also being aware that you're also teaching a child or children at home. So there are a number of challenges and triumph with that. So that's what we do on this platform, where I get educators to talk about that. Also have parents who have decided to decide to homeschool their children as a result of the situation in terms of COVID, because they might have realized that it is better teaching the children from home, starting a homeschooling journey, instead of sending them back to the classroom. I've got one parent with me today who've done exactly that, who is on this journey of educating her child at home. She is also an educator. So that's an added plus, the fact that she's an educator and teaching her child at home, which means she got all the tools. She doesn't have to learn a set of new tools anymore. She just have to use them in the home instead, and using the tools at home to really demonstrate what teaching should be like. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I haven't had a guest from the UK for a while, and she's from the UK. I'd like to welcome you onto the platform, my dear, you and your daughter, because I thought it was important that we actually hear from the child's perspective of what it's like being taught at home by mommy, and what it's like being at home, not being in school with her friends, and what some of the issues are basically. Not, it doesn't necessarily have to be issue, but what some of the things are basically. Okay, welcome. Introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from. I've just said that you're from the UK, but what part of the UK you're from? And tell us about what's happening on your journey, etc. Welcome. Introduce yourself.
Hi, good evening, everyone, or I'm not sure if it might be good afternoon for some of you, but my name's Alicia Scott. I've been in education for over 14 years. I've worked my way up. So I started as a teaching assistant, learning support assistant, special needs support worker, and then I became a teacher in 2014. Wow. I've also been the DT coordinator, so I was responsible for making sure that everyone in the school was issuing DT that it should be, and I supervised some lessons. I have also got a child development master's and a first class psychology degree, which I'm very proud of. And most recently, shameless plug, I'm the director of my own education consultancy called Education with Heart.
Wow,
and over to my little miss.
My name is Tia, and I live in the UK, and I am homeschooled, and I like being homeschooled because when I was at school, they didn't like explain. So if they're doing like maths, for example, they don't explain what they're trying to what the like what we're actually doing, and then but when my mum does it, then I understand what she means, because she says it in a way that I understand.
Okay. Thank you for your introduction. Right, Alicia, why did you decide to homeschool your daughter?
The main motivation was after the school shut down and we were we were forced to homeschool for 6 months, I found out that I loved it. And it wasn't just the fact that I already had the tools, like you explained. It was the fact that I got to spend that quality time. My daughter has grown up before my eyes, and what I've only just realized, because I am a bit of a Karen or whatever people want to say, or a bit of a blonde, I've only just realized this is the last year of her being in single digits. So now she's going to go into double digits. So my baby has grown up before my eyes. I don't know where 9 years has gone, but our life before was get up, get dressed, go to work, drop her off, come home, do it all again. But COVID helped us to slow down and appreciate what's really important. And it was that quality time. I learned that my daughter is a mathematician during COVID. I had no idea that she was so gifted when it came to maths, because everyone in my family makes the joke that it skips generation with me, and I'll hold my hands up. I can deal with money, but certain maths concepts, let's just say, I'll probably need a tutor, but that's okay. So for us, the main motivation was just that quality time. I got to find out her learning style, and I just got to find out how clever she was and how I'd missed that because I've been too busy joining the rat race and thinking, well, giving myself to other people's children and not giving myself to my own child. Like this time of year, I'd be doing lots of creative activities, but those same activities I wouldn't do at home. I just wouldn't do the same things. And a lot of people would say to me, why do you go so hard for other people's children, but your own child, can't you see that she's sad? Can't you see that she wants you to pick her up like once a week, or I don't know, maybe twice a month or something? And I just couldn't see it. I was so blind to the fact that my poor child wanted to be like other children who got picked up at 3:30, whose mum came to the shows, whose mum was actively involved. I was so caught up in being a teacher and just thinking, go to work, that's what life's about, provide for her, give her all the toys in the world. But she didn't want that. She just wanted mummy's love and attention and time. And I didn't realize that before. It was COVID that helped me to realize what's important in life. And you should just live every day like it's your last. And that's what we've been doing. We've been enjoying this homeschool journey. There have been challenges in terms of my math skills have had to be upgraded. So I've got myself a tutor, and I'm not ashamed. I've learned so much. I bought myself a Carol Vorderman book, and I've been doing really well with those classes. And I'm even going to go and do my GCSE again, because I got a B in maths, but I want to do better because I don't know what a B is now. You would know. Is that like a 7 or no? No, it's not a 7, is it? I don't know what a B is.
I think it's an 8.
Yeah. Is that good? Is that, I don't know.
It's an 8. Yeah, it's an 8.
Yeah, but I want to see if I can get better.
It's interesting, Alicia, what you've actually said in terms of homeschooling. I'm going to correct you there, because parents was not homeschooling the children. They were supporting the children. The teachers were sending the information for them, and they were using it to support the children. Maybe you were homeschooling your child because you knew what to do. But for most of the parents, we were actually sending the information for them. They did not have to prepare any information. We were sending the information for them, and they were supporting the children with those information. So it's interesting that you've actually said, you actually homeschool your child because you knew what to do, and you probably did not even follow the work she was given. You actually compile your own. So that was interesting. Another thing you said, which was really, really, really interesting, was thanks to COVID, yes, I'm also an educator. COVID have actually made people realize or understand what the children was all about. Because they did not know the children. And it was fantastic that you have actually, explain and admit that you did not know your child as much as you should, because COVID have actually forced you to do that. And it actually forced other parents to know the children. Because as you well know, Alicia, being an educator, we knew the children much better than the parents did, because the children came to us for 7 or 8 hours a day. So we knew the children. So COVID have actually forced them to know the child. And something which is so important, as educators, some of us are also parents. So we also in the situation where we drop our children off and pick our children up. But if you're fortunate enough to be able to pick your child up at 3 or 3:30 as an educator, you're actually getting to know your child. For me, when I actually started teaching, I started teaching part-time because I felt it was important that I actually spend the time with the children. So I was dropping them up and I was picking them up. So I had that time with them doing the homework, etc., because I decided to do part-time until they went into primary school. Then I started increasing my hours, but that's the choice I made. So those that gave me the opportunity to know my children a little bit. However, COVID have actually make us know our children even more. And it would be interesting to really hear what it's like for you to actually homeschooling your child, knowing full well that, the challenges. Because as an educator, we know what the challenges are. And it's also nice to know that one of the reasons you gave for homeschooling is after COVID or during COVID, you realize there's so many things, beautiful things that you need to share with your daughter. And you wasn't able to do that because you were on a roller coaster. So it's really
in the hamster wheel. I was going around the hamster wheel and thinking that was life, thinking that having a panic attack in the morning before I went and brushed my teeth was normal. That wasn't normal. I always champion mental health, and I always tell people, oh, make sure you look after yourself. But I wasn't looking after number one. I was pouring from an empty cup. And I always say to people, you have to be, I like when I'm at rock bottom, because the only way is right back up. And hey, what happened? Where did we go?
It's okay. I'm here. I think
so the only place you can go once you're rock bottom is catapult to the top. So for us, it was needed. Like, it was a moment for me. My key word for COVID has been enlightening. I've grown as a person. From March, I'm not the same. I was a girl in March, but now I'm a woman, and I'm now a better mother. And I now know that the word no is, it's okay. You're allowed to set boundaries. I shouldn't feel bad if I cancel meeting up with people. I shouldn't feel bad, or I shouldn't sit here analyzing if a friend doesn't text me back, thinking, oh my God, she not like me. Why is she not calling me back? Or why should I hang out with this so and so? I've realized we all have our own drama, and it's just how we cope with it. And for me, I'm the sort of person, I don't confide in others. If I do confide in you, I must trust you. And the people that I did confide in, I've been so blessed that they helped me on this journey. And two people in particular, they know who they are. They don't like to be mentioned. They get embarrassed. But they've helped me so much. Like, they told me a long time ago that I was wasted in education. And I just ignored them, because I always ignore them. I don't listen to either of you two, by the way. I always ignore them. And they did say to me, Alicia, you're never, ever going to be head teacher. So stop striving for that goal. Start spending time with your beautiful daughter. Can't you see that she's gifted? And I was like, oh, no, she's not. Just because she can do this, do that, doesn't mean she's gifted. I was like, I'm a teacher. I should know. But they were absolutely right. I had missed out on so much, because these two, they've been on every single school trip with their child. I can't say that. They were there for their child's first day. I can't say that. That's one of my biggest regrets in life, that my daughter's first day of school, I wasn't there. She walked into that classroom. Yes, she was confident, but she shouldn't have had to do that. She walked into those doors on her own. She was a diddy little thing. And forever, that's going to haunt me. Yes, my brother did me a massive favor by taking on that role, but he shouldn't have had to do that. That wasn't his job. He was just, like, he took on such a big, and my heart, I love that he sent me videos, but it wasn't the same, and it's never going to be the same, and I can't get that back. When I tell people, they're like, you're an idiot. You really are an idiot that you let your daughter walk into those doors on her own. I was like, well, I thought, no, stop trying to justify it. So now, like, all the time we get spent together, it's magical, and we love it. We absolutely love it. Even though there are times that, like, one of the challenges I think has been, we've got different learning styles. I'm very to the point, whereas my daughter, she can spend all day on one thing, but now that's okay. I don't mind if she spends all day working on something, because to me, the end product is more important than trying to rush through, because that's how it was in school. That's how I was always teaching to the test and rushing children to do things. And that wasn't right. Like, I was working with 3 and 4 year olds, and I could see that they were stressed. And I just think, you're 3 and 4. You don't pay bills. You shouldn't be stressed. And I used to worry about them. I used to worry and think, why are we doing this to our kids? Like, they've got the phonics screening. I get that it's needed, but they're little kids. Why are we testing them? They're tiny. I just think it's too much sometimes. They're just, why can't they just, like, I love early years because you get to teach quite creatively. And that's what I've done as a homeschooler. I love to be creative. There's not much that I can't turn my hands to. I'm a very, I'm just super, super creative and super talented when it comes to any sort of artwork. So my teaching has been quite creative, and my daughter has loved that. She's loved that we've gone on nature trails and we've come back and we've either painted it or we've collected things from the nature trail and we've stuck them, made a collage. And for her, that has been beneficial. And it's like, I always say this, it's like having a personal chef, because I didn't even know my daughter was such a good cook. I didn't have a clue. I love it. She made apple crumble the other day, and I wanted her to sprinkle the oats on top, but I didn't correct her. I left her because she did it like a flat, like a circle, and then she patted it down, and it actually turned out delicious. Right. And I was like, growing up, my mum probably would have corrected me, and I didn't like that. When your parents used to wash the dishes up after you. That really used to hurt me. I know it's only a little thing, but to me that used to really hurt. Or when they used to tell me, oh, you've done this wrong, I used to think, well, I tried. I'm only little. Like, I tried. Or the first time I cooked for my parents, it was a disaster, but I would have preferred that they ate it and not laughed at me. So I'm a big fan of making sure that I always champion her. And if she makes a mistake, I don't ever shout, because what's that going to achieve? Because when people shout at me, I walk away. I don't listen to you at all. You're talking to yourself when you shout at me. You really are talking to yourself. So I'm not a shouty teacher, and that's one of the challenges as well, I think, for us, is sometimes she's made a mistake and she's been so scared, like, I'm going to shout at her. So that makes me question what was going on in school. What was I not being told? Because she makes like the slightest mistake. She's like, oh, mommy, I'm sorry. And I'm like, I don't shout at you. I never. So it makes me wonder what was going on in school, because I didn't see her. Like you said, educators have our children more than we do. Like, when you add it up, our children are in school for a lot of hours. And when teachers are saying things, I would question everything, because I used to think, okay, it's funny how Tia can do this at home, but you're telling me that she can't do it in school. Like, that you're the problem, not my child. You're the adult. You're the educator. You've trained, apparently, because we all know what goes on in schools. So you've trained. So why can't you teach my child? Why are you telling me that my child has to have a special teacher? No, she doesn't need a special teacher. Why can't you teach her? Why are you telling me that I should be doing more? Aren't you the one that's her teacher? Yes, I'm her mum. Yes, I'm doing extra with her at home. But aren't you the teacher that's being paid to teach her? And I used to get so confused. And I used to wonder why the school hated me. But now I know why. Because I'm a helicopter mum. I'll hold my hands up. I'm proud.
So you're one of the helicopters I've been talking about.
Yes, I am proud to be a helicopter mum. I don't care. I'm going to start a support group, and you're not welcome.
Thank you for that. Another thing is, before I go into that, I had a parent contacted me yesterday, and she contacted me because she thought it wasn't right what happened. I think her son is 7 years old. And what the teacher was doing, which I felt was so wrong, when the children did not do their homework, bearing in mind we're talking about 7 and 8 year old, when the children did not do their homework, the teacher actually named and shamed them. And that actually, I was appalled by that. I said to her, what I want you to do, make sure you go to the headmistress. I said, because the fact that this 7 and 8 year old did not do their homework, that has nothing to do with the child. That is the responsibility of the parents. Right? So why should you be naming and shaming the child? What you should be doing as an educator is find out what the challenges are. How can you support that child and the parents to actually get that work done? For all you know, the parents might have been going through a grieving process, and he or she wasn't able to get that child to do the homework. You don't know. You would never know, because you did not ask the question. Instead, you name and shame the child. I was livid. I then spoke to my son about it. My son is 14 years old. And I said to him, what do you think of that? He said, Mom, I think it's really bad. He said, because that's nothing to do with the child. So why is she punishing? Why is he or she punishing the child? He then said to me, I could understand that if you were preparing for GCSE, because you need to take responsibility for your own work. So which means that if you did not do your work, the teacher have you see, I'm not saying that the teacher have a right to name and shame you, but the teacher could tell you off about it because you are responsible. And I think that was a very good answer, because at that age, you're doing GCSE, you are the one doing GCSE, you are responsible. But when a child is 7 years and 8 years old or under that, that's the responsibility of the parents. So it appalled me that educators, I understand that there's stress, but the fact that you actually name it and shame a child, what I feel that serve to do is make the children don't want to come to school, make the children don't even want to enjoy doing homework. So that's my issue on that. Another thing is, you said that the reason why you homeschool your child was you felt that you were missing out. What is it like to be homeschooling your child in terms of the national curriculum? Because we know that although I personally feel that the national curriculum is not fit for purpose, nor is Ofsted, but those are my personal views. So bearing in mind that you have to fit in with the national curriculum, and I also think it's tick boxes, what are your views and how are you meeting the national curriculum when you're actually homeschooling your child? What was the process? What did you have to do in order to ensure that you meet the national curriculum? Because even though you're teaching her at school, at home, she still have to take the national exams. So the
borough that I live in, they had someone come out to view me. This person didn't even have qualifications that matched my level. So straight away, my back went up and I questioned everything that she said to me, because I thought, wait a minute, you haven't even got a teacher qualification, but you're telling me that I can't teach my own child. But I left it at that. Then I got passed on to someone who apparently is a teacher, and she just said to me that all I need to do is use workbooks. First of all, I showed them my schedule, and apparently my schedule was too advanced. But I thought, I'm sorry, you don't know my child, but okay, because you lot just met her on one day for like 30 minutes. They said that my schedule was too advanced and I should scrap it, and I should instead just buy 2 workbooks from W.H. Smith, maths and English, and do that for, I think, 1 hour a day. Because they said their keywords were, which I listened to because I listened to everything, there's a lot of dead time in schools. Technically, the only learning time is 3 hours, they said. They said the rest of the time is taken up by playtime and lunch. So they said to me, I should only be teaching her from 9 till 12, and then after that, she's allowed to do what she wants. And I thought, okay, that's great, but how am I going to fit in all the things that she would normally be doing in school? Their other main issue was socialization, but I had that covered because she's got a best friend who is like a pen pal at the moment because of COVID. And my daughter also has, we've made like pen pals on Instagram. So it's not like she's missing out on socialization. She still understands, and we're part of 2 home education groups, and we have trips. So those areas were covered. And then when my report, which was due on Monday, which I filled in, the report just asked me to talk about maths, English, socialization, computing, and that was it. And I was told because of COVID that no one was going to come out to see me. But then my schedule got questioned, even though I sent photographic evidence of everything. And I've got folders, which I'll show, of how I operate and how I work. My schedule and everything is still being questioned. And apparently I now need to have regular visits because they just think it's apt. And I've questioned it because I've said, you do know that in this country, I'm allowed to legally homeschool. And some might even say I'm overqualified because I've got my neighbors who are homeschooling, and not to be disrespectful, they don't even have GCSEs, but they're doing it. So I've got 12 GCSEs, 3 A-levels, 3 degrees, one of them being a teaching qualification, but I'm not qualified to homeschool. Please answer that riddle. That's what I want to ask people. Can someone answer me that riddle? Because in this country, unless I've missed something, we are legally allowed to homeschool. And we were doing it from March till September. So when did the law change? Because you didn't have a problem us homeschooling from March to September, because I saw some of my friends lose it. Or ex-friends, now I get, because I realized that I had the tools, but they didn't. So I now know why they let their kids sit on Fortnite from day 1 till whatever day we homeschool. And another friend who literally asked me for tips, but I just couldn't help her because I just felt that you should have used that time to get to know your child personally. I didn't think you should have, because already I feel that parents use teachers as a babysitting service, and we shouldn't. we should have been appreciated a long time ago. A long time ago. I wish parents realize how hard, well, certain teachers, especially myself and like yourself as well, I don't just go in and think, oh, I'm here just to get paid. I actually take my job so seriously. I'm that teacher who doesn't like school trips because I feel that once I'm outside the classroom, anything can happen to those kids. When we had the terrorist attack, I remember we did organise a school trip to central London, but I cancelled it straight away. And I even said to the deputy head, because I had her daughter at the time in my class, I even said to her, you know what, don't send your daughter on this trip. I said, because even I don't want to go on the trip. And me and her had a great relationship because she said to me, Alicia, the fact that I have my daughter in your care should tell you a testament to what such a great teacher you are. And when the deputy head told me that, when she said that to me, I thought, oh, that is quite a testament, because you know that a school's a good school if a member of staff sends their own child to that school. If a member of staff doesn't send a child to that school, alarm bell should ring in your head. Alarm bell. But when she said that to me, like that deputy head, like she's so revered in the community, she said to me, Alicia, the reason why I put my daughter in your class because I've seen you teach. She goes, she was my mentor, my NQT mentor. And she was like, I saw you blossom from that girl that used to cry in observations to that girl that was smashing them. And when she said that, because I thought, that's weird. How come you never put your child into school before? But boom, when I got the job, you put her, and she said to me, add the dot. She was like, you are a Karen. But she was like, add the dot, sweetheart. And I was like, oh, you really? She's like, I know you're great. She goes, every day, my little girl comes home and says, Miss Alicia is the best teacher. I love how she looks after me. I learn something new. She challenges me. Because even though I was in nursery, I didn't baby them and sing ABC every day. My kids could tell you about nocturnal animals. They could tell you about the life cycle of an owl. I challenged my kids every day. I had a challenge table. I used to invite parents in. Like, I went hard in all the schools that I've worked in. I now know why teachers were sad to see me go. Like, head teachers were like, they'd make up lies and make me think, oh, should I stay? Should I stay? And one school I did, but now I know why. They didn't want to lose me. I was that teacher who cared about pupils. It's true. The education has lost me, but my daughter's gained an amazing teacher.
Exactly. So how are you in terms of the national curriculum? So which means that because as we know, in terms of the national curriculum, we teach maths, English,
and science. So these are the workbooks that I use. And we find them okay, but I am more of a teacher, like you said, that I'm quite creative with the curriculum. So I do use these, but not, I wouldn't say every day. Like, yeah, Tia wants to show off her work.
Okay, that's pretty.
That was our
So
firework.
what did you use that? So what did you use that for in terms of when you're actually teaching, right? Take us through a typical day of homeschooling.
Okay, so a typical day for us is we have her routine schedule, which is get up, brush teeth, and get ready, do her hair. And then we move on to our other schedule, which is maths activity, English activity, science. Then she has her one of her chores, which are two chores, which is tidy her toys, clean the sink. And then we always do a creative task because I just feel that when you learn through play.
Yes.
And then finally, she does my daughter does business enterprise. So her dream is to own her own cafe. So we work on the menu, we work on what cakes, we sometimes bake cakes. We decide like what's going to be, because I always encourage her interest. Like, I never ever say to her, oh, that's not going to happen. Like, when I was younger, all my dreams used to get squashed. But my daughter, I don't do that, because I know the importance of making sure that you always encourage your child's dreams. No matter if you think they are impossible, you shouldn't put your views on your child. And it helps her self-esteem, because her self-esteem was very, very low from being in school and being told that she couldn't do things, and just not having those teachers or the teaching system that actually cared. Because as much as people say it doesn't happen, favoritism does happen, and we're all guilty of it. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that I never had favorites. I did, and it was bad of me. I can hold my hands up now and say that I shouldn't have had favorites in my classes, but I did. And sometimes it wasn't great, because I did give those children more attention, and especially if they were gifted, I would push them and I would secretly give the mums extra work. But I should have gave my attention to every single one, and I shouldn't have, if I did have an issue with a parent, I shouldn't have then taken that out on a child. And I can hold my hands up and say there were times when if a parent was rude to me, I would then think, well, okay, well then today I'm not going to talk to George. I'm going to just leave George to the teaching assistant. And that was wrong with me. And that's another example of how I've grown as a teacher. I realized that, you know what, this child is still a child. He's still a child in my class. I'm still responsible for the data and making sure that he performs. So I should never ever make him feel bad just because his mum doesn't like me. Like that's her problem. I don't know what she's going through.
Yeah.
And I've learned that it's like people, we all go through drama in life. It's how we deal with it. And I just feel that some parents just that I've worked with, because I've worked in quite underprivileged areas, they haven't had the facilities to cope with they haven't had like the support, and it hasn't helped. But I think schools that I have worked in that have been really good, like some Lutheran schools, they used to have like parenting classes.
Okay.
And I've attended some of those. One of them I attended, I did I don't know if you know it, the 5 to Thrive training.
Okay, yes.
Yes, I did that, and let's just say that revolutionized my teaching. I came back the next day because I didn't want to go on the training, I'm not going to lie. I used to hate being away from my class. Like I was that teacher. I would actually cry if I couldn't see my babies every day. So I did the training, even though I was like, oh, why is she sending me on training? She's all so annoying. But I came back from that training and then I was like, what? Why did I not go on it sooner? It revolutionized my teaching. So, and I do the same like now. I've done so many. Yesterday I did an emotional resilience course. I've done a self-esteem course. I'm still doing CPD even though I'm at home. I'm still upskilling. I'm just basically applying the same methods that I would have used as a teacher with my daughter. I'm not making sure. I'm not taking any. What's the shortcuts? That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. No, go on.
Yeah. Another thing is, how are you teaching her through play? Are you using play as a technique, or are you, let's say for English, for argument English, right? We know in terms of the national curriculum in English, the standard book, sometimes it could be boring as anything else, etc.
Yeah.
So how are you ensuring that when you actually teach her English, it's not boring and it's entertaining and she's loving it, etc.? How are you making sure that happens?
Well, in nursery, in early years, you have to teach through topics. So this topic we're doing this term is traditional tales. So what we did was we did like a book hunt around the house of all traditional tales that we could find. And funnily enough, I had quite a few that I'd even forgot about. I even had doubles of books that I didn't even know. So people are getting some Christmas presents. That's what you're getting, people. Because I didn't know I had 2 copies of certain books.
Wow.
I then adapted it and taught her about Anansi the spider, because growing up, I loved that story. So for me, introducing traditional tales from my culture meant the world to me. I also use books that have been made into films. This was a film and then it was a book. So this is Inside Out. I don't know if you know it. It's a really good film about feelings. A girl called Riley, she goes through a load of feelings, and basically it's explained. The film is amazing. If you haven't seen it, please go and watch it. So a lot of my teaching is through topic, and that way Tia's interested. You can speak. Sorry, Nova.
So tell us how you feel about this, the teaching your mom does.
Is that teaching through topic?
Yeah.
Go on.
And I like doing that. And also, when we do maths, I have a pretend cash register, and I use it because my mum said we do learning through play, and then because I have the toys, and then I use it because it's for money in maths. So I use it, and I use some real money as well, instead of the ones that it comes with.
Okay.
That's what we did as well. Like before I started homeschool, in March when we had the lockdown, I know a lot of my friends were like, they came up with all these fancy schedules that they found online. And instead what I decided to do was I thought, wait a minute, let me assess my daughter to find out where her gaps in knowledge were. And I was shocked, Debbie. There was quite a lot that she didn't know. And I was thinking, she's been at school for 5 years, but she don't know what a TP coin is. I was thinking, and no one thought to tell me. No one thought to stop me or slip a note in her bag or call me, because everyone's got a phone. There's no excuse. Email. You had my email, school. So no one could tell me that my daughter didn't recognize money. And for me, everyone knows how much I love money. Just dropping hints there, boo. I love money. So I didn't understand how she didn't know what a 2p. I was like, what's going on here? And when I'm asking her like to do simple like money equations, you're looking at me like say I'm crazy. And I thought, no, money should have been covered a long time ago, my friend.
Yeah,
and time. I know that's a difficult concept, but again, I was shocked that she didn't know time. I was thinking, my girl, you wear a watch just for fun. I was like, Mummy bought you a watch since you, because I found a picture last night actually where she was 2. I had her wearing a watch from the time she was 2. So I was like, I sent you to school telling time. So how comes now you don't know? And I'm thinking, why did no one ever? Why was I never stopped? Stop saying that the school says, oh, you was a working mum. We thought you didn't care. Don't say that. Don't say that. You had a duty of care. We've all, I know the same documents that you've got. It's called duty of care, accountability. You should have stopped me and said, excuse me, Tia doesn't know this, Tia doesn't know that. Here's what you should do. Why was I, as the mum, always questioning, always asking for tips, for support? That wasn't my job. Yes, I was a teacher, but hello, I wasn't my daughter's teacher when she was in school. You guys were paid. That's the key word. You're paid. And you just didn't seem to care. Like, well, I think remember one of her parents, which was very interesting. Even her dad said to me afterwards, he was like, is it supposed to be like that? The teacher asked my daughter to lead it. And I thought, this is new. I've never done this before. Yes, she's year 4, but still. And the teacher was like, Tia, tell Mummy and Daddy what you think about your learning. And we came out of that parents' meeting and I looked at him. He said to me, is that what you do, Alicia? And I was like, don't question me. I said, I don't teach like that. I said, what kind of nonsense? I said to my daughter, what was that? We came, you know how they rushed you, Debbie, you get the 5 minutes. You get the little 5 minutes. Yeah. And I was like, okay. And then we weren't allowed to answer any questions. And even my daughter was like, Mummy, what did you gain from that? And I was like, and all the way, like all the way home, we were like, wait a minute, what just happened? Are we crazy? Is the teacher crazy? Because this teacher is very revered. So I was very, very shocked to think, wait a minute, she's quite high caliber in the school. Everyone says that my daughter was lucky to have her, but boy, I learned during COVID that I wish to God my daughter didn't have her, because several children were removed from her class, which is again is a red flag. An ex-friend, her son was removed from the class. So that, to me, that's a red flag. This same teacher didn't do any well-being calls. My daughter could have been dead. Nobody checked on her. Like, where was the well-being calls? That's, again, where her school failed. And in terms of, like you mentioned earlier, the work that was being sent home, I was like, what is this? Where's the lesson plans? Where, because like you said, not everyone was blessed like me. I also have common sense too. Yes, I might be ditzy at times, but I have got common sense. So even if they didn't send a plan, I would have known what to do. If the worksheet said time, I would have known what to do. But like you said, I now understand, like through my growth, that certain parents, that's why they were stressed out. Like, I've got friends who were really, really stressed out with homeschooling, and now I get it, because like they said to me, Alicia, we're not teachers. We don't teach our youths. And they found it very, very stressful. Like one friend, he had a meltdown, all because his son couldn't do something. I was like, babe, leave him. He's only 10. I was like, he'll get it. And he's like, no, I want to get it right. I was like, it's okay. But I get it. Like through what you said, not everyone was like me. Like some people literally, they did struggle because they had their own mental health, their child's mental health. And I think it was worse for those that did not have a support system. I now get why I was that friend that was lent on, but I wish people had turned around and said to me, wait a minute, how comes Alicia's always calling us? Why did no one ever call me and say, I wonder how she and Tia are doing in that flat? Like no one ever thought to. And that's one of the things for me personally that made me quite sad, but at the same time, it's life. And you learned this year, I've learned loads. I've learned so much.
Yeah. So you are saying to me that during the lockdown, your school Tia's school did not call her to see how she was doing? Not at all.
They did. I think they did. After I suggested it, I got one wellbeing phone call, and then that was it. But what they should have done, because I used to co-parent, and what they should have done was they should have called me and they should have called Dad. They shouldn't have just called me, because both of us are on the form. So what I didn't appreciate was that they called me once, but they knew because I told them. Because one time, another time they did call another time, and I said to them, she's not with me, she's with Dad. But Dad didn't get a phone call, and I was like, I thought, is he lying? I don't know. What do I believe? But when I asked my daughter, I trusted her, and she was like, no, Daddy didn't get no phone call from the school. That's wrong. You should have, because you don't know what that child was suffering from
Exactly.
when she's with that other parent. Like I know, like we all know that from the stats, what's gone up through the roof. Domestic violence has gone up through the roof. We know that. Everyone's checking, especially educators that are concerned, like me and yourself. We're checking the stats. We know what issues have arisen from COVID. So I just feel like the school knew my daughter, and they know when you've got two different parents on the form, that's a reason why. And if they haven't got the same name, come on, do the maths. We're not married. So why were you not checking? You knew that she was going between homes. So why were you not checking on both parents to monitor that work was being sent? And another thing which they didn't organize was in terms of the work, I had to always go and get it, which was okay. But then sometimes it was just so many worksheets, and other schools were using purple mash. Like even my friend who is an educator as well, she was like, her school's backwards. Worksheet. She was like, what planet are we on? Every other school was using electronic platform. Why was my daughter's school doing worksheets? I was like, what planet are you lot on? Like, I didn't understand. And then when I questioned it again, I was the bad guy. Oh, you always got something to say. You never think that we're good enough. And I was like, no, I'm just stating facts. You're the only school that's doing worksheets, my friend. And then you ask the teacher. My daughter's teacher even asked me how to use Purple Mash. And I thought, love, don't do that. Just because I know how to use it, shouldn't you know how to use it? Because is it not your job? I just feel that my daughter's school was very, very lazy. And it was, let's call a spade a spade. There's no need to shy away from it because the truth always comes to light. They were lazy. They were very lazy. They should have prepared better. They should have so many things. Like I'm sure quite a few children have slipped through the cracks. And we even saw a parent today, and she didn't even remember us. My daughter used to go to her son's house all the time, every Friday. We saw her in the park today, and she looked at me like I was a stranger. But I remembered. I didn't take it to heart like I normally would. I just thought, you know what, Alicia, I don't know what she's gone through. I don't know if her child's even still at the school. I know she did say that her daughter has now started secondary school, so I know that's quite an emotional. I'm not even thinking about that. Like I'm still busy stressing about my daughter going into double digits. So I can't imagine how it feels that her daughter's now at secondary school, and she's even said she's already noticed the change. And I was like, oh, good luck. I said, I'll pray for you. She was like, I've lost my little girl. And I was like, yeah, you have. I said, good luck. I said, because I know for me, when I started secondary school, my parents lost me because I was like, oh, hello. There's a thing called boys here, and they look cool.
So it's interesting. So, listening to you, you are demonstrating so many reasons why you were forced into, not forced, but you opted for homeschooling.
Yes.
Because you feel that the school during the lockdown have failed your daughter.
Yes,
and they were not actually gaining the creativity from your child and things like that. But okay, so what is it like in terms of, I suppose you're preparing her for secondary school?
Yes, so I've had to upskill myself. So one of the things that I've done, shameless plug for Beards and Books, is I've joined a homeschool focus group. And let's just say I did a focus group for them about 2 weeks ago. That was so informative to connect with other homeschoolers from around the UK. It was just great. Like a lot of the mums on there, their reasons for homeschooling was mind-blowing. And it was very difficult because I was one of few teachers on there, and we did get bashed, but I didn't take it to heart. Like normally I would, but because through my growth, me and the other teacher, we were like, you know what, we need to hold our hands up. We do those things. We do teach you the test. We do put too much pressure on little people. We do listen to people when we shouldn't, like head teachers, and because we think they're our bosses. We do take things from people that we shouldn't because we think, oh my God, we're going to lose my job. We do keep quiet. We don't be the whistleblower, even though we've got a policy. We don't take care of our mental health, and we don't take care of children's mental health. And even though one of the mums, that she just gave her reasons, and I was like, you know what, I did all those things. I am that teacher that your child used to have. But she was like, that's why I'm so secure. She goes, I didn't have a clue when I became a homeschooler. But she's like, you know what? It's called learning. And she's like a big believer in learning through play. So even though her daughter, I think her daughter is 10, most of their day is spent doing art. And she's taught herself art therapy, and she loves it. And I agreed with her. I said to her, I've worked in special needs school, and most of the day is just based on, well, definitely the timetable, because the boys need that when I've worked in a Peru. And also, so definitely the routine, and also a lot of therapy. So I've worked with children, I've done dog therapy, I've done art therapy, and just having that schedule and doing those sort of therapies with them and massage therapy, I've seen the benefits. So these are all things that I've incorporated again within my teaching. So meditation is something that we've all both started. Just get mindfulness. So I get both me and my daughter's mind ready to teach. And when I do feel like quite overwhelmed, that's when I say to her, you know what? Let's not react and get cross with each other because we haven't achieved our outcome. Let's take some time out and let's reflect. So I'm not here saying that it's a bed of roses, because that's a lie, and God is my witness. There have been days where I just thought, damn, it hasn't gone to plan. Why? Where did I go wrong? Because I am a planner. Everyone knows that about me. I've planned for 2024, which is a bit silly, but you know what? I'm a planner. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. You know, I'm kind of silly. I'm a planner. So I've realized that things don't always go to plan, and sometimes that's okay. Don't get bogged down in the little things. Like, oh, my daughter, I'll let her show that in a minute and tell you the story behind that. But this is what I've done. So on the 25th of November, I did what's called a reflective learning sort of journal. And so my daughter was able to cut out all the things to show what we'd learned. So the dog is to show our fear of conquering dogs, and also the fact that we're going to be getting a dog very soon. Yeah, we're also going to get fish because we love animals, and fish is just so therapeutic. Yep, to look at. We love listening to fish music on meditation. Yeah, he's right. Yeah, this is because she loves unicorns. Obsessed with unicorns.
What unicorn?
We've done tours of London where she's seen old telephone boxes. This was to do because we're doing Christmas now, and we talk about giving to others, because my daughter regularly gives to abroad. She gives her toys away to other countries, her clothes. We give money to homeless people if we see them. Like, I'm gonna give away all my old coats that I'm not wearing. Who needs 50 coats? Like, I didn't know this before. I just wanted to look good, but I don't need 50 coats. I can't wear 50 coats. Like, I don't even, half the coats that I found, I wouldn't be seen dead in them now, but I know that somebody out there needs them. We do debate. So both of us, because we both do have different thinking and different learning styles. So we have debates, which is very interesting quite a lot of the time. She's done some work with Crisis, which is a homeless charity. Gingerbread Men is to do with our topic of traditional tales. And Christmas, we're going to make gingerbread men. And so, yeah, so far, our reflective learning, we've been to Covent Gardens. Tidden Woods was her collaboration day with other children. That was her homeschool day. We've been to Hyde Park. We know that park inside out now. But please, can someone tell us where the children's play area is? We still can't find it.
Right in the comments.
Yeah, we can't. Yeah, right in the comments, please. Where's the play area?
Make sure you like the video.
St James's Park.
Give me 100 million.
We've been to Pets at Home. We've done bird watching, and we're pretty good now knowing types of birds. Apart from wren and sparrow, we love robin, but we get confused with wrens and sparrows. Our traditional fairy tales topic. We've prepped for Christmas. We celebrated Thanksgiving for the first time ever in life. My daughter's now a global citizen. She understands teaching in other countries and schooling and how blessed she is, because she has a friend in Jamaica, and it was insightful for my daughter to see where she lived. Like, my daughter was like saying, "Oh my God, is that where she lives?" And I was like, "Tia, don't be like that." I said, "That's that little girl's home that she was so proud to show you." I was like, that's basically, she's in a shanty town. And obviously my daughter had never seen a shanty town. But I said to her, that poor little girl, that's her life. She's happy, and she was proud to show us around her home. And I said to my daughter, don't be like that. Dog therapy, which I've mentioned. And we've covered business enterprise. And she wants to talk about this. Yeah, go on.
Okay,
so she taught me something new, actually. Okay, all right.
Okay, so this is putty and type of slime, and then basically I do learning with it because I do ASMR, and if you're young you might know what that is.
You do what?
No, I'd say it loud and clear.
ASMR.
What is ASMR?
I forgot what it stands for, but you have to look on Google.
So what it is, it's a type of play, Debbie, without any sound. I didn't have a clue. My brother knew about it, but I did not have a clue. I was so embarrassed.
Okay, yes.
But it's like a type of, she loves it. Like, whenever oh, go on then, all right.
So you need to be quiet,
okay? Okay, all right.
So, for example, okay, so you can make ASMR of this.
Oh, let me get the correct one. Go on.
Do this. If you can hear, but not, you might not hear, but because it's a bit quiet. But yeah, we can do with other sounds, but you can hear it more if you have a microphone, I believe. So yeah, and I have this neon snowman.
Okay, I'll grab that. Yes. Oh yes, you love your snowman. This was from the pound shop. Nice, cheap and cheerful.
Okay, so I got this, and it lights up, so it changes colors, and now it's green, and
Okay.
it's blue. So I got a neon snowman, and yes, and it has a Santa hat.
Okay. You got
and
some-
also
okay.
the this is also good for like whenever she feels a bit stressed. Like we sometimes, like I said before, we do have like challenges throughout the day. I'm not saying life's a bed of roses. So this helps my daughter. She finds it quite therapeutic. It's the same sort of technique that I would have used in special needs school, and I would have used in my classes with children that I find that if they're finding the work a bit too challenging, I think it's important that you just give them some time. Don't ever be on a child, be like, get it done, because that don't help. I've worked with a colleague who, just a minute, Baba, who used to shout at children to get them to write their name. I used to look at her and think, okay, yes, you're older than me, but hello, that technique's not working. That poor child, when she sees you, she wants to run. There's a better way. Like that little girl, I remember when I used to sit with her, I'd say to her, trace the letter P, trace it with your fingers. I used to trace it on her back. I'd let her feel it. I'd say to her, let's get the Play-Doh. Let's use different things to make the letter P. I was like, you'll get it. But my colleague used to get it, write it. And then she used the thing which I used to hate. She used to hold the girl's hand, Debbie. And I hate that. When I see educators doing that, I want to just, I used to think, that's somebody's child that you're shouting at, number one. Number two, that's somebody's child that you're gripsing up just so that you can get them to write the letter P, just so that we can tell the masters, that's what some of the head teachers feel like, that, we've ticked the box. That's not, that poor child is going home telling their mum, you know what happened today? Like, and I used to look at her and think, yes, come on, I get that you might think your method is good, but hello, I'm young, I'm fresh, I've got better ideas. Like, why don't you just try it my way? And what I used to do to her, like, I wasn't very nice, but her strengths was displays. So whenever I had observations, I would never ever give her like an important role in my observations. I would give it to my other colleague who literally I revere to the highest. She's been in the school for years, but it hasn't made her jaded. Yes, she's aware of the systems, but even though she's just amazing at what she does, and she cares. When I meet educators that care, they're the ones that I bond with. And when my spirit takes to someone, I know that it's not a setup. I know that there's a reason why. When I met this lady, I told her my personal business. I remember thinking, I just met her, but she didn't go and spread my business. She just said to me, I'm going to help you. Whatever you want me to do, she goes, I will help you. And she did. She put me in touch with organizations, and she helped me. She helped me to become the teacher that I became at that school, because she was like me. We like to teach in different ways. And I remember once when the colleague who was very forceful, she was out for a week. Oh, the best week of our lives. Oh my God. We prayed that she was going to be sick for longer. It didn't work though, but it doesn't matter. We let the kids go wild, Debbie. We did creative arts and crafts. We did messy play. The kids loved us. That week, the kids said to us, Miss Alicia, where's this teacher been all along? And I was like, I don't know. I said, but she's here. But boy, when that colleague came back, let's just say that teacher died again. And I was back to teaching to the test and shouting when they didn't get a question right. Why don't you know what 1 + 1 is? There's 3. They don't need to know what 1 + 1 is. They just need to know to put the toys away when you finish and just enjoy your day. You're there to just have fun. You're not there to get yourself stressed out. Like, you're 3 years old. Like, I remember one little kid, he used to come in like an old man sometimes. I say to him, sweetheart, you don't have any girlfriend problems. You don't have any bills to pay. I was like, why are you so sad? Oh, you know what it's like. I'm like, no, you're free. I was like, stop this. I was like, just be a 3-year-old and go and join your friends. Like, he never used to like to get dirty. He was very prim and proper. But when he did open up, like when we saw him finally go and touch the sand, we just stood there and said, shh, don't startle him. Just watch him. Just watch him go and touch the sand. And then once he started the sand, then he moved on to the messy table. And I was like, oh, take a picture. Because I love showing parents at the end of the school day what their children have achieved. Because I was that teacher. I would happily talk to parents till 5 o'clock and then go to them, oh God, I've got to go pick up my child. I was that teacher. Whereas I know there's some that when it got to 4:30, don't talk to them. They've gone. Before you even try to say, excuse me, can I? Rah, they're down the road. Oh, wait, they've gone. But I could never be that teacher. I've always been told that I do too much, and I get told that a lot. But I just feel it's important because we're with the children the most of the time. Like, we're with the children more than their parents. And I loved primary school. I always say this to people, even though I was bullied in primary school, but I now know the reasons behind it. But for me, I was that girl that walked around the playground and talked to herself. I made my own fun. I made my own friends. Like, and I remember thinking, you know what? This is the best years of my life because I knew that once I got to secondary, I knew that my life was going to change, and it did. I remember thinking, you've got to get changed in front of people. I've got to talk to boys. I've got to be this person. I've got to this contraption called a bra. I was like, I don't want to be here, but I had no choice. I had to be. And I remember I used to cry and say to my parents, like, why have you done this to me? Like, why can't I go back to the safe haven of primary school? Because and it's true, like, it's sad that I just feel that we don't prepare our kids for secondary. I really do feel, especially our Black boys, I really don't feel that they're prepared. And I had a Zoom with a really close friend last night, and I said to him, I don't want to admit this, but I've got a newfound respect for males. When he opened up to me and told me what it's like to be a guy, I was like, oh. He was like, thank you. He was like, so can you start respecting me more? He was like, can you stop talking to me like that? Can you stop making me feel that I'm not good enough? He said, because I want to be good enough. He said, but you make me feel like I'm not. And he goes, I've had that my whole life. And he was like, it's easy for you. He was like, you've got some power that I've never seen before. And I was like, no, I don't. He was like, you've got it all. He was like, you're confident, you're pretty. He was like, you can go out there and the world is your oyster. He said, me now, I'm hindered because of my choices. And you just seem to love to moan about things. He said, but you just need to start to appreciate what you have. He was like, you've got it all. He was like, really? I was like, you know what? I get it now. I said, I get why guys struggle. I said, I do feel sorry for you. I said, I don't want to be a boy. I said, even though I moan about being a female because of certain things, I was like, you know what? I'm happy that I'm a female because, yes, I'm a female with a male mindset, but I do know how to be a female. And yeah, I have a newfound respect for males. Like, I don't know how they do it because, especially when you get into the dating scene as well in secondary, that's a minefield. And yeah, I didn't understand it before because I remember that was where I tripped up because I remember thinking, do I have to do this? Do I not? And you know, shows like Sister Sister, I used to watch those and you'd see things like American TV shows and you'd think, okay, should I be doing that? But then you wouldn't know, like you didn't know who to turn to because obviously your parents didn't know what was going on because I was taught recently they didn't know better, so they couldn't do better. But if they did, I'm sure they would have. Like my parents used to tell me that, oh yes, you should go on a date, you should do this. But I used to think, why should I go on a date with someone who clearly just wants me because I look good? Like, why can't I go on a date with someone who likes my brain or likes the fact that I got top set? I used to get gold slips in my school. So I used to think, why can't the guy like me because I'm top of the class? Why has he got to like me when I'm the clown? And that's what happened to me. I just was being the clown because I thought, oh, the clown gets the boys. But
you
that's
see,
not good.
it's interesting because you see, as you pointed out earlier on regarding that's another program anyway, regarding male, Black boys, etc. Because you see, in terms of top set, etc., it's a challenge in terms of our Black boys. That's another program. Now that you said, that's something I need to think about because there's so many things in that. It's interesting when I listen to you in terms of some of the reasons for homeschooling in terms of how your child wasn't excelling on, in the state school. And the question is, how long do you intend to homeschool her for? You intend to homeschool her all until she gets to university, until she gets to doing her GCSE? What's your plans in terms of homeschooling?
At the moment, we're taking it one step at a time. So I'm definitely going to make sure that she finishes off primary school in my care. But in terms of secondary, I don't want her to miss out because I know there's certain experiences that she does need to have. And but I'm going to cross that bridge when I come to it. I have got some amazing male mentors, that's what I'll call you lot, who are going to guide me because I did think that, you know what, I can do it all. But they showed me that Alicia, sometimes it's okay to ask for help, and we're here. We're not going anywhere, and we've been through the system. We know, so we can advise you. They've said that I'm doing a great job so far, but I just feel that there might be some. I think it's flexi school, so she can do part classes. So that might be an option, because at the moment, my friend, she's doing flexi school, and her daughter's loving it, because her daughter's missing the socialization aspect. But my daughter's she doesn't really miss the socialization aspect, because she was that child who was wandering around the playground by herself, or she had friends that weren't really her friends, so she doesn't miss that aspect, and she doesn't really gel with children that, unless they're like-minded anyway. Because on the homeschool trip, it was beautiful. She bonded with this girl who, you can tell, it was the most amazing connection. It was like when, as adults, when you have a connection with someone, and she also bonded with this little boy who I'm now friends with his mum. And it was just on those homeschool trips, what I love is just to see children in the environment, like we was in the woods, to see them just enjoying and helping and supporting each other was the most amazing sight for all of us parents. Like, a lot of us, I went to the corner to cry, but a few other parents were openly crying, because they were like, I was like, that's my little girl. So that's my little girl who doesn't normally talk to anybody. I was like, she's talking to a boy. I was like, I need to go hurt him. But I didn't. I talked to that mum now. But I was like, she's talking to a boy. I don't care.
He was little.
I don't care.
He was like 3 years old.
Doesn't matter. No, the other boy you're talking to, he weren't 3 years old.
No, he was my friend.
Oh, and no, we friends with girls only. To watch her constantly like interact in that environment, and we were only supposed to stay there for like 3 hours. We ended up staying there for 6 hours, like till it got quite dark, and we even got lost in the woods, because that's me. I'm known for getting lost. I can go somewhere 1,000 times, let's just say, I still get lost. So it was fun, all of us parents with our kids trying to find our way back to the exit. But that trip, even though I came home and I was exhausted, the memories that we've made and the connections that the children made are for life, because they're children, they have a WhatsApp group, and it's beautiful. So I'm just gonna let God guide me, and also just let my male mentors and also the homeschool group, because in that group it's been lovely to connect with such beautiful like-minded women, because that's what I was missing in my life. Like-minded people. I was missing people that were on my wavelength. Like, a lot of people say to me, I'm Miss Stush, and there's nothing wrong with being Miss Stush. Why should I not have standards? It's my life. Why should I settle? Just because you want to settle, that's your business. I'm not about settling.
It's interesting though. Another thing is, let's say you have some parents out there who are listening to this, would you encourage people to homeschool their children, especially primary age children?
Oh, most definitely. There's no other answer. Most definitely, especially if you're able to. So if you're like myself, my business, I can work from home. Some of it I do have to outsource, but the fact that if you are able to, I would say do it, because one mum that she resonated with me when I did the focus group, she was saying she's homeschooled since 3 because she says she just hates the British school system. She's American, and she just said that she would never ever, and I was like, wow. She was like, never ever will I send my child to school in this country. I was like, wow. And I remember me and the other teacher, we were private messaging each other. And I was like, that hurt. I was like, does he even want to try it? And my friend, she was like, don't take it hard. She was like, come on. She's listened to what she had to say. And she was like, no, I have managed to teach my child, and through play, creatively, through my own curriculum, and my child has turned out just fine. She's got lots of friends. She has the socialization skills, her knowledge, her skill set. She was like, I will never. And I was like, oh, wow. And all of us were like, you know what? I thought, what I did, because I always reflect when people talk to me, I make notes. I made like a lot of self-reflection. I thought, you know what? She's right. She's right to be so secure in her decision to homeschool. And she was like, it didn't make any difference to her when lockdown happened. A lot of her friends were calling her, but she was like, no, this is my time to spend with my child, which I've always done anyway, because she was like, her daughter has life skills. And I was like, that's the other thing. You get to teach your children life skills that I don't think that things that are sort of not like taught in school anymore. Like, I remember when I was in school, I used to play with clay. I used to do like plasticine. But nowadays, because of allergies and Ofsted and whatnot, you can't do any fun things. Like, the fun has been taken out of learning. That's one thing I always say, because I'm that fun teacher. Like, I always tell parents, don't dress them in designer gear, please, because they will get messy, and don't bill me, because I've had that. I've had parents try to bill me, and I've told them, you better take that bill and pay for it yourself. I'm not. I tell you, children are here to learn through play. They are 3 and 4 years old, and they're here to get messy. I am that teacher that I love messy play. Like we even did so we even do messy play like here. Like when my daughter when she's too quiet in the bathroom, I know 1, she's either flooded it, or 2, she's doing messy play. Because she loves it. The feel, that sensory, that's something that children never ever grow out of. They love it and they learn so much. So one of my favorite activities is like a tough tray. And I normally, when we do like getting to know you, I normally fill a tough tray with spaghetti and dinosaurs and like counting cubes and little pebbles to show parents that things from home, you don't have to go and spend loads of money. Like this is from the pound shop. The pound shop, everything's a pound. I hate people who say, well, how much did it cost? It's a pound land. It's a pound. It tells you if it's not. Then people drive me mad. This was a pound. Like things don't have to cost you money. Like I got story cubes. These were $2.99 in the works. I think right now they're on sale. This I bought, a shameless plug for my friend. I think we bought this from a book fair. I think it was like $4.99. But again, you know, you don't have to go and spend loads of money to homeschool your child. So yes, if you can, if you've got facilities, resources, there's loads out there. Contact me if you want. Please do it, because you never ever get that time back. And I'm just loving getting to know my child. I feel like I'm getting to know her all over again. It definitely is, because I feel like I've lost out on so much because I was that teacher who gave her all to other people's kids. But when I got home in the evening, oh, I'm too tired to read with you, Tia. Read to yourself, or oh, not homework again, or oh, go do your homework when you're at your dad's or whatever. And I used to think, when other parents were showing off their homework, I used to think, oh man, why did I not do that? Because I had two friends who they're both teachers at my daughter's old school, and I used to love the fact that even though they were full-time parents and full-time teachers, their son's projects, let's just say he won every time. If it was a school fair, because the dad was a DT teacher, and let's just say I was blown away every time when he's his son. I thought, why can't I be like that? And I even said to the mum one time, she said to me, you can, Alicia, just that you're allowing this work to dictate your life. And I thought, you know what? This woman's right. And I wish I'd listened to her sooner. And I also wish, Big Head, that I'd listened to you a lot sooner. I wish to God when you said to me that I should have been teaching my own child and not other people's a lot sooner, because I have missed out. You were right. Okay? On camera, you were right. That she was wasted in that classroom and she didn't have to suffer trauma. She didn't have to suffer because I did have the tools. It was just my own self-doubt that I kept thinking, oh, I couldn't do it. But I had to do it in March, and I did do it. I did a great job.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we're loving it.
Like, late. It's never too late anyway. So the fact that you're now doing it, you know, and you're finding great value in it, that's a plus.
Oh, most definitely. Like we can't, like we did go back for 4 days, but then I thought, why am I here? I was sitting there in the training, sitting there amongst people thinking, why am I sitting here with you? Why? And also my child, she suffered bullying. Like now on the first day, you're popular, everyone loves you. Then the second day, let's just say, I watched my child walk around a playground with not one single soul go up to her. Then she was brought to me by a colleague who was like very rude and was like, oh, I don't know why she's crying. And I was thinking, excuse me, you don't even have children. You're lucky. You're lucky that I'm being professional. Anyway, I took my child and I was like, baby, what's wrong? And I said to her, you know what? Don't let them see you cry. Wipe your tears. I said, dry your face. I said, cream your face. You're gonna go back out there. You're gonna show them that you're a champ. And she did. She went back into that playground. I said to her, you don't need them. You show them. Don't let them see you cry. I said, show them that you don't need them for nothing. If you have to walk around and talk to yourself, do that. Because mommy will make it better. And that night, I said to her, we ain't going back to that school. I said, we're not going back. Mommy should have never, ever gone back on her word, because I was so secure in my decision to continue homeschooling. I let other people, other people's opinions, affect my decision. And it wasn't beneficial to us. To watch my little girl walk around that playground brought back memories of me as a 6-year-old walking around a playground, singing to myself, thinking, wish I was back in Barbados. Why these people brought me here? I used to think, this school's not nice. These kids are horrible. They laugh at my accent. They laugh at my hair with foils and beads. They make fun of my knowledge and how clever I am. Because when I came to this country, I was like, why are children doing 2 + 2 when they're 6? Because in Barbados, I was sky high. I'm still like, my level of genius is where I definitely need to get my IQ retested, and my daughter's definitely inherited it. because the things she comes out with, like the AMSMR, I had to teach myself. And even my dad was like, are you sure? Has she not made that up? And I was like, no, because Akeem, my brother, knew what it was. So I was like, Dad, she's not making it up. And my daughter's memory, she remembers things in the womb. And when I tell people, they're like, nah. And I was like, she does. I said, because there's stories that I haven't told her yet. There's diaries that she'll get when she's older of age to read them. But when she said that something to me the other day, I was like, I never told you that story. And I was like, I need to get her IQ retested because I've got a genius on my hands.
Yeah. And it's interesting though, because more and more I'm beginning to realize that the education system, as we both know, supports us or encourage us to program children.
Yes.
So we do not allow the children to grow naturally or learn through play, right?
Yes.
So it's a situation where they need to learn the national curriculum because it's in a hurry and it's got to be done. That I totally, that really gets to me, because I'm teaching in a school right now. And one of the challenges I had when I was teaching, when I started at school, is the way I teach. I am not a chalk and talk teacher, and I'm not a teacher who follows the national curriculum, because I personally, yes, I know I'm saying it on air, yes, and I know I'm an educator, I do not think the national curriculum is fit for purpose because it does not reflect the children's lifestyle or the children.
Exactly.
That's one of the aspects. So when I started teaching in the school I'm in right now, which I'm finishing for Christmas, I was told that it's a chalk and talk setup. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, how am I going to cope with that? Because I'm not one of those teachers who chalk and talk. As I keep on saying on my program, I'm one of these teachers who sit on the table, who sit on the windowsill, who up and down the classroom, cannot sit at the desk. I have not sit at a desk. I don't know what it is like to sit on a chair at a desk. I am always all over the place. Now that COVID is here, I'm forced to kind of stay one side.
Yes.
I teach with my hand and my body. And I so believe in enabling the student or the children to be creative, because I think nothing is more powerful than learning through play and creativity. And that's the time you actually see what it's all about, because when they go out there in the world of work, they have to be using their own creative skills. And that's what I feel, that the national curriculum does not prepare children for the world of work.
Yes.
And a lot of the way children learn, when they're in the younger years, they learn through play. But when they get to secondary school, they lose that. We actually trying to program them, and it doesn't work. And I'm constantly saying to parents and children themselves, use different ways of learning. Learn through play, learn through storytelling or experiences, etc.
Pi Corbett. I love Pi Corbett's method of storytelling. I was introduced to that in 2014. And again, that revolutionized my teaching. I observed a teacher teach using Pi Corbett. And I was like, hello, why have I never been taught this method before? Exactly. I love his interactive way of telling a story. And for me, like you said, that's the way that children are going to learn. And also through trips as well. I think going on a trip to the Science Museum or the Natural History Museum, my daughter's been doing that since she was a baby, from the time she was in my belly. I used to take her on trips, and even though I know she wasn't physically there, she was with me, and I still kept those things up. So for her, other 9-year-olds might have been, or 8-year-olds at the time, other 8-year-olds were sad about, I don't know, the toy shops being closed or whatever. My daughter was generally sad about the Science Museum. And for me, I always tell people this, I took lockdown seriously when the South Bank got shut and when the libraries got shut, because that's my haven. When I feel sad, I go to South Bank. And I remember my friend said to me, are you going to take this seriously now? Are you going to start listening to the government? I was like, no, because until South Bank gets shut down, that means that the world is fine. And he was like, you weirdo. And I was like, leave me alone. And it was true. When I heard that announcement, I said, oh my God, this is real. I was like, I'm going to have to start preparing. And he was like, yes. He was like, your haven. And when I did try to go back to my haven after we came out of lockdown, it was so cold, Debbie. It was like returning to the classroom. It was cold. The love that I used to have for teaching, I didn't have it. And when I tried to bring that love back, it was forced. It was me pretending to be something that I wasn't. And because I was going through my own healing process as well, I wasn't giving my all to these people's children. And I remember one mum even said to me, she was like, "You're not that lady that I met before." She was like, "What happened during COVID?" And I was like, "You know what? Don't be too thrown up, number one." And I was like, number two, I was like, "I'm not telling you my problems," but I was like, you know what? She's right. I shouldn't be in this classroom right now because one, I wasn't feeling it. And two, I was not fit for purpose as a teacher. And nobody thought, oh, wait a minute, should we not help her? Should we not see if she's been okay during COVID? Should we not have called her to see, how was she? As well as, because, everyone knew my situation. I'm not shy about my situation. I'm a Black independent queen. So they knew what my situation was, but no one thought to pick up the phone and say, "Hey, is Alicia and Tia okay?" Like, the only people I found the kindness of strangers. My neighbors have been amazing. Even today they were saying that we've got such a lovely community. I was like, I love the way we help each other out. Like the other day when they knocked and asked if I had some food, I was like, of course, I'm gonna give it to you because I don't ever like to see people struggle. I don't like to see anyone suffer. Like I give to homeless people, even though I'm not balling. But why should I see? I can't walk past someone suffering. I'm not. My daughter now, she likes to analyze, but then she did have a point. Quite a funny story. The other day we saw a homeless guy, but my daughter was like, "He can't be that homeless, mummy. One, he's got a coat on. Two, he had designer trainers, Debbie, and three, he had a mobile phone." So we were like, "We're giving you our money."
That's an interesting.
And he had headphones, Debbie. And he had headphones. My daughter was like, he had a beanie too, Debbie. So he worked for us. He was lying to us. So we did not give him our money.
Interesting analogy. So if parents say to you that they want to homeschool their children, one of the things you did say that you're going to say to them, yes, they should do it. But what tips would you give them? Can you identify 3 tips you would give a parents who decide to homeschool their child?
Definitely get to know your child. Ignore all. You can take on board what the school has said, but personally, I feel that you should get to know your child. And there's so many resources. If you go on like any form of social media, a new site I've discovered, Pobble, Pobble, they send you lesson plans, Debbie. So there's so much out there. So definitely, so you can assess your child to find out how they learn, because it's important to find out your child's learning style. Like my daughter's a very kinesthetic learner. That's why we learn through play. So that's my first top tip. Like, get to know your child. Like, if you want to spend 7 weeks doing a get to know you topic where you learn about each other, you could tell them funny stories from your childhood, or you could find like photographs and go through them. And because my daughter, she didn't even recognize herself as a baby. She was like, "Who's that white baby?" I was like, "That's you, my friend." So get to know each other. That's the first thing I would say. Then I would say, if you feel that you need the support network, please join. There's so many homeschool groups now. Like I've got a borough homeschool group. I've got one that I found myself. You can even start a group. Like I've met a mum who started her own group because she just felt that the one we were in wasn't benefiting her. And I love the fact that she had the confidence to do that. I was like, oh, I said, just stay in the group. She's like, no, why should I? If I'm not happy, Alicia, I'm not staying in the group. So again, I definitely would find like a group, because that way you're covering the socialization aspect. You can learn from others in terms of like homeschool techniques and just like resources. You can share resources, share lesson ideas. And the third one, incorporate outdoor learning, because London has so much to offer and it's free. Everyone knows my favorite word apart from money is free. I love free, and I know a bargain when I see one. And going to the park doesn't cost us any money. It does not cost. And even this morning we went to the park, and I'm that mom, unfortunately. I always do learning opportunities. There's never no downtime with me. So that's probably one of the challenges that Tia hates. The fact that I'm always on the go, I'm always learning. And even like my close friends say to me, sometimes I just wish you'd switch off, but I can't. I just can't. I'm always on the go. I have a notebook with homeschool ideas, which I'm always editing. So I just feel like outdoor learning, you can gain so much. So that day we went to St. James's Park, from the morning to the evening, my daughter gained so much knowledge. And then the next day I came home and consolidated that knowledge by my daughter writing and drawing all the birds that she spotted. And she even taught me something. What did you teach me about mute swans?
Yeah, they have a long neck to get their food in the bottom.
Yes, but why did you think they were really tall?
Because they're smart.
Yeah, her favourite uncle taught her that only tall people are really smart. He's trying to be rude to us short people, but you're wrong. Not only tall people are smart, big head. But yeah, so that was nice.
Not big head.
He is a big head. That's a misconception that I always address misconceptions as well. So for me, that's my 3 top tips. Get to know your child by any means possible. Join a support network. And outdoor learning is so fun. Like even I rediscovered my childhood, like climbing trees, building dens. Yeah, I'm not very good at climbing trees, but I'm getting better. I've discovered my inner child. I'm a big kid anyway. I'm a kid at heart. I'll hold my hands up. At a party, you'll see me dancing or just like near the sweetie table. You won't see me with the adults because they're boring. I love to have fun and just live my life like every day is my last, because you know what? I think COVID has taught us that there's more to life than working 9 to 5 and then coming home exhausted to even talk to your child, or even in my case, even read to your child. And I remember I looked through her reading journal and I just thought that was bad. Like I was telling people that I was reading every night. How can I be reading every night? But I was so tired that I couldn't even read to my own child. But now we love that. Like every day we're reading, and she loves when I put on the funny voices. So I thought the same things that I used to do for other people's kids, why was I not doing for my own child? And I still do have mum guilt. I can't answer that question, but I've got some amazing male mentors that have helped me to realize, just accept what's happened. You've learned.
Move on. Yeah.
You finally listen to us, which is the biggest thing that I keep getting told. I was always listening, just that I do things on my own time, so be quiet. That's my message to them. Like, but that is one of my biggest regrets. But I've learned that you shouldn't always do things in your own time. That you should listen to others, and it's okay to ask for help. It doesn't make you a loser. Like that's what I used to tell people. I'm not a loser. I'm not going to ask someone for help. I'm not going to ask someone for food or whatever. I don't need anything from you lot. But on camera, I do need you lot. So yeah. And it's important that people know that they're loved and appreciated.
Yeah. Asking for help is a strength, huh?
Yes, that's what I got told. So yeah.
Asking for help is a strength. Thank you so much, Alicia and Tia, for actually coming on board to tell us some of the challenges that you've had and some of the beautiful things of homeschooling. Yes, I totally agree with you. I would have homeschooled my child if I had thought of it, because in terms of the national curriculum, it actually forces us to be very programmatic in terms of all we do program these children to pass exams. We don't even look at the emotion of these children. All we do is program them. And the sad thing is, when they were doing SATs, all we do is program them to do SATs. We had the situation where children were becoming very stressed. What right has primary school children have to be stressed? It makes no sense to me. They're primary school children. So, in terms of homeschooling, I do feel that homeschooling is important. And I do feel that homeschooling is the way to go, the way forward.
It's such a nurturing, like you can create a nurturing, loving environment. That's one of the things that I got from one of the mums.
Yeah.
There was a key catchphrase. I wish I'd bought that notebook, but I didn't. But anyway, she taught me that there was a key catchphrase that she kept referring to throughout the focus group. And she was like, she just feels that every day she's nurturing her child and she's not teaching to the test. Oh, actually, we also had an ex-teacher in the group who decided to homeschool because she had teacher burnout. And I gave a lot of information on that. I was like, that was me too. She had teacher burnout, and that's what helped her. That's what triggered her to be a homeschooler. And I was like, see, people don't realize the stress that what I don't think people realize is the preparation that goes into lesson planning, especially if you're educators like ourselves who actually generally have a good heart and we care. I think parents just think that we were a babysitter, but we're not. And that's what one of the mums said. She said to me, she felt that teaching to the test was just only stressing her out, and mostly important, the little kids, like you said. Why should we have 6-year-olds or even 10, 11-year-olds being stressed out? Like, we don't have bills to pay. You live in someone else's house. You have someone who brings you food. You have a maid. You have a chef. You have someone who does your ironing, your washing, your cooking, your cleaning. Why are you stressed?
Yeah. It is so very true. Thank you so much, Alicia and Tia, for that. And it was a fantastic, enlightening session, making us aware that We can all homeschool our child. We don't
Oh,
have
most
to be
definitely.
educators to homeschool. And the
Right.
fact is, learning takes place through everything we do. And maths is in every single thing we do.
Yes.
And the way we actually get our children to understand and enjoy maths, we need to show them everything they do have maths in it, and everything they do have English in it, and everything they do have science in it. We just have to find a way of demonstrating how it connects to learning, because they all connect to learning. We
Most
need to
definitely.
move away from this prescriptive national curriculum that are not fit for purpose, or train the
Exactly.
children for the world of work, because we know as educators and as parents, it doesn't, it doesn't connect. It's like my child said to me, Mom, why do I need to know Pythagoras method? And it's true, I couldn't answer. I didn't have an answer
Exactly.
for it. I didn't have an answer. I just had to listen to him because
I
he's
remember that
right.
though. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. But C, it's just memorization. I couldn't tell you how to do it. So that's like you
Exactly.
said, it proves the
I
point.
know the
Haven't
purpose
used that
of
in my
it.
life. Haven't used that in my life. A
Exactly.
squared plus,
Exactly.
but I remember it because again, we're taught to the test. I was taught that because
Exactly.
I had an educator that had to teach me that method. But if you ask me to do it now, I don't know. Why
Yeah,
should I
and
know?
what's the
It's
purpose?
just
There is no
right.
purpose.
Thank you.
Anyway, thank you everybody,
Thank
and I'll be
you.
back on tomorrow because I've got another show tomorrow, which is looking at mental health of educators. How are we dealing with the mental health of educators? And as we know, there is an increase in mental health of educators and students, and it is continuing to increase.
Oh,
So
most
that's what
definitely.
I'm
Yeah.
coming to on tomorrow with mental health and education. And Sunday is also mental
Yep. I'll
health and
see you on
education,
Sunday.
because I do feel
Make
that it is so important that we look at that and deal with it, because it is constantly, thing,
Oh
and
no,
there's
most definitely.
so
I'm
much
always checking
burnout
the
as well.
statistics.
Educators are so burnout, and it's increasing as well. Thank you,
Oh,
everybody. Good night, good morning, good
um,
evening, wherever you are. Have a fantastic day. Stay blessed.